Live from New York. It's a show that decided not to be a player's coach this morning with my kids, Brew. You'll love it.
Hard-nosed? Old school?
Old school.
I like that.
Are these fish gonna feed themselves? They're not my fish. I said I didn't want the fish tank. Oh, Dad, can you? No, I'm not going to do it. How about that?
I love it.
I ended up doing it. But regardless, but still, like, I gotta eat. I can't.
What?
They gotta eat.
Can I say something real quick? Brew talks a big game, but Brew also only has daughters, and I have seen him interact with his lovely daughters. I have a hard time believing you were not a softie.
Oh, it was tough. I was tough on that. I was so tough on that. It's different with daughters.
Yes, I knew it.
We start in Denver. Potential finals preview here. Second best team in the East, third best team in the West, but it wasn't close. Joker went for 30 and 12. Celtics had held to 84, Brew, on their worst shooting night of the year. Zach Cox of the Boston Herald noting it's the first time the Celtics team shot worse than 35% since 2022. Feels like they could have used a little more offense. Somebody up there in the Maine Red Claws, or whatever they're called now, I think. Did this game prove the Celtics need Jayson Tatum back?
No. Last night was, look, Denver, I think, is a better team. I think we all agree with that. But last night was somewhat of a schedule loss. It's back-to-back in the thin air of Denver. And I'm not saying they wouldn't have lost, but, I'll give them.
Game in
4
they
won the first 3 on the road trip. This was game 4 on the West Coast trip. They lost. Fine. All right. But here's the deal. I didn't need last night to tell me they need Jayson Tatum if they're going to do anything of consequence.
Okay.
All right, like they could have won by 25 points last night, and I still would be saying they can't win a thing without Jayson Tatum. Now, they can win a series maybe, but I'm saying they do not have a chance of winning a championship without Jayson Tatum.
I think you agree with that.
A championship?
Yeah.
That's the goal.
No. I could see a path to the finals.
But the East is
Maybe.
yes. Maybe. Yeah, I wouldn't pick them, but I'm not even going to go that far. I'm saying they won't win the East without Jayson Tatum. And here's why. Talent matters. Talent matters. You can win in the NBA if you work hard, if you defend, if you get after it and play smart, and then you can shoot the 3, you can win some regular season games.
Yeah.
Because every team doesn't do that. But you're not winning. When it gets, real crunch time in the playoffs, you're not going to beat the more talented teams just with that formula because they're going to be playing hard too. And then they have more talent. And here's where it shows. These Celtics, now look, let me first say this. The Celtics are having an impressive season.
Yes.
Right? I give them nothing but credit. Joe Mazzulla, Brad Stevens for building that culture. They have certain types of guys that work hard, and certainly the players, Jaylen Brown, #1 in the MVP race. So I give them credit. But they are nothing more, and I'm not even trying to be funny. They're nothing more than a cute team right now.
Come on, bro. The cute team is they
can't win the East.
But they're not cute. There's winning the East, and there's cute down here.
Yeah, I think everything else
Hornets
is
are cute.
Okay, no, the Hornets are not cute. They're getting better looking. All right, they're getting en route to being cute. All right,
Yeah.
These Celtics are 1-5 against the top 5 seeds in the West, and they haven't even played Oklahoma City.
Well.
So that's what I'm talking about. Talent matters. They're 2-5, Nick, against the top 3 seeds in the East. Yeah. All right, now I took out Cleveland as 4 because James Harden, they're a new team. So, but top 2-5 against, who would it be? Detroit and New York. They're 2-5. So talent. They started Sam Hauser, who's undrafted last night.
He's good.
He's okay.
So he's
for an NBA player, he's okay.
Can I just
Neemias Queta at the center. Oh, he's a second round pick. He's all right. I mean, this is not top-tier championship level talent. Who's the other guy they started? Baylor Shire.
Yes, he's good.
Oh, okay.
No, those guys
okay.
are.
They're good.
They're
hard
role
workers.
players.
They're
They
the
can
Pacers
shoot.
in green jerseys from last year.
No, they're not. They don't even have as much talent as the Pacers had last year. Not without Jayson Tatum.
Because a lot of those Pacers guys weren't top 5 picks, but they're lottery picks.
Yeah.
And Brew is big on pedigree in the NBA.
I'm
We
just
know
big
that,
on talent.
And he's not. And so,
These dudes work hard and grind. Okay, congrats. I mean, it is what it is.
So here's the thing. I wholeheartedly agree with Brew, but in a maybe nicer way. Like I think what the Celtics have accomplished thus far this year is wildly impressive and should be saluted.
I agree.
I think the fact that they have understood who the guys are on their roster and through the front office and the coaching staff have figured out, hey, given the strengths of Hauser or Cada or Baylor Shireman, what type of offense and defense should we run to best exemplify those guys' strengths? They are getting as much juice out of the berry as you possibly can given that roster. And that's commendable.
Yes.
It's pro sports and the job is to try to win, even if Tatum was out for the year and you knew deep down if you're Brad Stevens, can't win the title. But you know what? Our fans want to see a good product. We'll win as much as we can. So I applaud that. I think the NBA is sorely lacking that mentality from other teams. So that's all good. That can be true while also being true that if Jayson Tatum doesn't come back, they cannot win a championship. And for a team that in the last 5 years has been to the finals and won a finals and has been on really perpetual deep postseason runs for the last 20 years almost, basically since the big three were here.
Brown's been to 6 conference finals, something like that, 5 or 6.
Right, and so it is truly L-Bob, Larry O'Brien or La-Bob or whatever you call it. Like, so if Tatum doesn't come back, I would say OKC can win, Denver can win, the Spurs can win, Detroit can win. Even though I wouldn't pick them, Cleveland can win, the Knicks can win. I'll include Minnesota and Houston as teams that could win.
Sure.
And I might even throw in Philly and the Lakers as a 1 in 100.
Oh my gosh.
No, I'm
above
saying
the Celtics?
without Tatum. Correct. Because
The Lakers?
The Lakers, I honestly think they're probably better than the Celtics.
Guys,
without
no,
Tatum.
hold on.
I know the Celtics.
They're the best.
JW, their
It's the
record-
best defense in the league. You just have to blindly don't just say, I will give the best NBA defensive team a chance to win the title.
But I don't think you're giving them a chance to win the title.
I didn't. I was putting a small club of Spurs.
I really
Nuggets.
Listen,
OKC.
I put Sixers,
all of a sudden, Lakers are there.
I put Sixers and Lakers purely because the 1 in 100 shot, a player like Embiid or
Puncher's
Luka
chance.
just goes basically 2018 LeBron mode. Which, by the way, he didn't even win the title that year, but something like that. Which is why I've been very pro Celtics this year.
Surprised.
I'm trying to set this up as almost a hero's journey for Tatum. Because I think it is a false, incorrect analysis, folks being like, man, we love Jayson Tatum, but we're a little worried that he could mess up the thing we've got going. Because I think what the Celtics have going right now is wholly irrelevant if the goal is to win a championship.
Yeah.
Because what you have going right now is an awesome story and is an awesome season, but it can't result in a title. And I'm going to add one other piece to it. And this is where, because I know you're big on, he won't be full-blown Jayson Tatum for a while, you know, until next year.
I don't think that's a hot take.
No. I just think you've focused on it, and you're pointed it out, and I think it's right. He doesn't have to be, because he's not going to take minutes from their stars or close to stars. So here's the Celtics non-centers, minutes this year and last year. Derek White is playing an extra 25 seconds a game this year. Jaylen Brown is playing the exact same amount to the second this year. Peyton Pritchard, who's having an awesome year, is playing a little bit more, but it's also because he's gotten better. Sam Hauser is playing a little bit more, and then guys like Walsh and Shireman are playing a lot more. When Jayson Tatum comes back, Derek White, Jaylen Brown, Peyton Pritchard are still going to be playing those minutes.
Right.
He is going to be taking minutes from Hauser, Walsh, and Shireman. And Jayson Tatum at 60% is better than Hauser, Walsh, and Shireman. So, like, White and Brown and White and Peyton Pritchard were playing those minutes last year. They're playing them this year. So he's not going to disrupt that. But they just lost to a Nuggets team badly that didn't have Aaron Gordon and essentially didn't have Jamal Murray. He left after the first quarter.
Minutes, right.
And so it was a reminder of where they are right now in the ecosystem. And that's not a bad thing, KW.
But no, you got to stand up for him. You're saying we're wrong. You think they could win something without Tatum?
My expectations of the Celtics before the year were obviously not championship or bust. They were more aligned with the Pacers, two playoff teams that had their star player pop his Achilles. The Pacers have largely given up on this year.
Yes.
The Celtics are in second place. So I feel like a deep playoff run is a success. You know, if they fall short of a championship, I'm not going to be upset. If they get to the conference finals and have a nice battle with the Knicks, I'd be happy. I'd be happy with all of it. So I'm hesitant to rush what I think is a 2-year injury, or at least a Kevin Durant 500 days of non-basketball, to get Tatum back for a championship that I didn't necessarily want. Not want, but didn't necessarily expect. But he didn't come close to it. I thought we were going to be the Pacers. And now it's like, no, he's got to come back.
Well, I don't think anybody's saying he's got to come back. I think he might want to come back. And the point I'm trying to make is, if he comes back, it can only be, again, barring further injury, but we'll just set that aside. Because if he comes back, it's only positive. Because they can't win without him. They can't win at the level we're talking about, so it gives you a chance that they can win.
Do you think that'll be the reception, though?
I think it should be the reception.
It should be.
I don't know that it will be. I think it should be the reception.
If he were to come back, play great, close to what he typically is, and they get to the conference finals or further, don't win the championship, though, I think that's great. I think the only way to assure it of being a positive narrative from Boston fans is if he doesn't come back, and then they lose in the first or second round. Like, if he comes back, the pressure is going to be ratcheted up. If he comes back, people will start expecting, even if he's 70% of what he typically is, people will start expecting, they can win the East. And you would think maybe they can. But that's going to put pressure on him. I don't want to be negative,
but it's not like we haven't seen Jayson Tatum have bad playoff games.
No, we've seen him have great playoff games and bad playoff games.
So if he has a bad one because of the Achilles.
No, I mean, that's fair. Like he could get criticized, and I don't think it would be fair. But I think if he came back and they lost in the first round, maybe even the second round, people might criticize him, unfortunately.
All right. I don't even know what I want at this point.
Yeah, you're all.
I want to.
Look, he might come back and play very well. And give them a legitimate chance to win the championship.
I think they probably have a legitimate chance.
Without him? No.
If you're saying the Lakers.
Stop it.
No.
I'm
not
saying the Lakers either.
You said it. I heard you. Wemby had a quiet night, but the Spurs won their 10th in a row, bro. Devin Vassell stayed hot, led the Spurs with 21 after a game of 28 against the Pistons. How efficient is he? Well, the last 2 games, he's shooting 70% from 3. Have the Spurs proven to you that they're more than just a Wemby-centric squad?
Yeah, well, look, they are Wemby-centric. I mean, he is the hub and the anchor of everything that they do. Jeremy Sohan, who started for them the past few years, is now in New York having trouble getting off the bench. So having a guy like Wemby defensively, it helps you out because now you're picking up full court. I can get after guys on the perimeter in a way I might not be able to if I didn't have this guy backing me up. Offensively, he draws attention, and now that opens things up for us. So they're all benefiting from him being the centerpiece. But he's obviously not ball dominant. They don't run everything through him, which sometimes I wish they run a little more through him. But they have 3 perimeter guys that I think are certainly all-star caliber. De'Aaron Fox has made 2 All-Star games. We know he's like a legit All-Star. Maybe not every single year, but he's a guy that is a multiple-time All-Star. Stephon Castle, I think, is going to be better than De'Aaron Fox. Stephon Castle is like, I think he's incredible. Or, he's not there yet, but you see the talent.
I think he's the best of their guards.
Yeah.
Like,
going
as far,
for,
yes.
And I mean,
Even
maybe
more
right
than
now,
Harper.
Fox, yeah. Castle, like, if he were on another team, I think he'd be putting up big-time numbers.
And he's a great defender.
Yes. Yeah, he was, like I said, he was picking up Cade.
Yeah.
He made
Can I show
Cade
you
struggle the
my
other night.
Stephon Castle defensive graphic?
Yeah.
I had it in my pocket from the Pistons game since he shut down Cade. And I was like, well, did Cade have a bad game or was that all Castle?
Wow.
So against SGA, 6 for 19, 2 turnovers. Against Luka, 8 for 21, 3 turnovers. Against Cade, 3 for 13,
impressive.
2. And against Devin Booker, 2 for 9, 2. But go back, bro.
No, that shows, and obviously he's great offensively as well. And then Dylan Harper, he's 19 years old. Now, I think if Dylan was on another team, he'd have his ups and downs as a 19-year-old. But here, with Wemby and those other guys, like, he's actually really contributing. That's not to mention Keldon Johnson, Devin Vassell, like Champagnie. They got other guys that can shoot and score and all that. But this is why, and remember I said this, they're 4-1 against OKC. And I said the reason they have OKC's number, and I'm not guaranteeing they beat them in a playoff series because of the youth, but they are very similar, right, in terms of a bunch of depth, a bunch of perimeter guys that can defend with energy, athleticism, just one after the other, getting after it defensively, and they shoot it fairly well from 3, right? But their perimeter guys are more talented. Like the 3 I mentioned, outside of Shea, Jalen Williams went to, I don't want to always be about what college they went to, but he went to Santa Clara. These other, Fox went to Kentucky. I know some of the OKC guys went to big schools too, but I'm just saying, I think those 3 are legitimate stars in their own right, and they're more talented than the OKC guys that they rush at you, and that's why when they face off, I think that's a big reason San Antonio prevails. So, look, they have done, Presti, who kind of came from that tree, and the way they run things in San Antonio, they're superior organizations, and they're going to be phenomenal, both of them, for the next decade.
And go ahead, Kato.
No, go.
No, you want to say something funny. Go ahead.
No,
I can see the little twinkle.
I just want to apologize to University of Santa Clara.
I mean, are they a basketball power? I know Steve Nash went
Well,
there.
we won 2 MVPs. So I don't know. Name
How
the
many went
colleges.
to Kentucky?
Name the colleges that have produced 2 MVPs. North Carolina, Kentucky,
That's where a lot
Santa
of these
Clara.
guys went to.
St. Vincent.
UConn. Is Castle with the UConn?
So, none of it works without Wemby. But what they have going for him is when Wemby has mediocre or poor offensive games, they're good.
Yep.
And when Wemby has good offensive games, they're great. And so they are in games Wemby plays, 15 times this year he has failed to score 20 points. They're 9-6. That's a 49 win pace.
Yeah.
That's a good team. In the 29 games he has scored more than 20, they're 23-6. That's a 64 win pace. That's a great team. And they might end up the 1 seed.
Yep.
They are one loss behind OKC now, because OKC lost last night with 5 of its top scorers out. And they have the tiebreaker.
Yeah.
So if they finish with the same record as OKC, they get the 1 seed. So that could definitively matter. And this 10-0 month that they're in the midst of, we can show it to you historically, like single month, 10-0 or better, by blowing people out. Now, listen, 2 of those teams.
Oh, that's wow.
That's
impressive.
since the merger. 2 of those teams lost in round 1. 2 of them are some of the greatest teams we've ever seen. The 73-win Spurs and the 72-win Bulls. And then the Spurs the year after the Ray Allen shot year, that Spurs team.
Warriors team, lost to LeBron, his great comeback.
The 07 Mavs was the 1 versus 8. We believe Warriors beat them. the 13 Clippers, I don't quite remember. I think that was the Chris Paul, Russell Westbrook, OKC. I don't remember. Doesn't matter.
Oh, that year. Yeah.
But regardless, they're putting something very real together. Now, how much will playoff experience matter? We'll find out. But what they will have when they get to the playoffs is continuity. Because if you look at the lack of different starting lineups that OKC's had this year, if we can throw that up, fewest starting lineups this season. Spurs, the NBA average is 21. It's Minnesota, who has continuity going for it, and they've been playing together a long time. I think that's more important for young teams than old teams.
I like that.
You know what I mean? Because you're getting the experience playing with each other now. It's also probably pretty important for the Rockets because they're getting used to Durant. But that's
I like that.
You know why else, Nick, that 1 seed is so important? You would likely get to avoid Denver.
That's
like
right.
Denver and OKC would likely meet in the second round. So if you're the Spurs, the 1 seed is only going to have to beat one of those other two juggernauts. Not that it'll be easy because you got other good teams, but still.
Spurs going for their 11th win in a row against the Nets. I'm willing to guarantee that one.
Yeah.
Bills have a new coach, a new stadium, and a new spot in second in the AFC East. New head coach Joe Brady reminding everyone that this is a new beginning for the Bills. Take you buying that?
Well, looking at, I watched more of this, you know, and in the context, I don't think he was saying, hey, we're starting all over from scratch or whatever like that. So in fairness, I don't think he was saying that. But here's the deal. He's right. It's not year 10, but it ain't year 1. It's year 9. All right. And that's Josh Allen's 9th year. And they are SBOB. Period.
Yeah.
They were SBOB, I mean, before this, but the moment Joe Brady signed his contract, the expectation is Super Bowl next year. This year coming up. Because every year, it's the same thing for Lamar and the Ravens. But every year, it's more so for the Bills for this reason. They've never won a Super Bowl. And they've been good and gotten to plenty and lost. We all know that. But every year they don't win it, it is going to ratchet the pressure up even more on Josh Allen and the Bills organization, including Joe Brady. So this is, I don't care. Nobody cares if they go 17-0. Nobody cares if Josh wins another MVP. If they end their season like they did this year, whatever round, it's going to be a big disappointment. So the pressure's on. Nobody wants to hear that, oh, it's the first year and all that stuff. They got to get it done.
Yeah, I just flatly don't buy this. I might buy it a little bit for Jesse Minter because he came in from the outside. He came in and you know what? We're going to have to start a bunch of things fresh. We're obviously going to have a lot of player turnover, staff turnover, all of it. I think I have been a little confused by some of Joe Brady's media stuff thus far. He, a couple days ago, was talking about Khalil Shakir. He's like, listen, that guy, the short version was he was saying he can do more than what he's done. He can play inside, outside, not just catch bubble screens, go downfield. Buddy, you were the offensive coordinator. Yeah. You were the one calling the plays. And so I'm not going to, prematurely judge it. And I do think there is something to be said for a team that's been as close as Buffalo to stick with continuity, to want to go with, hey, we needed a new voice, but we didn't need an overhaul. I think that might be smart. But it is, to me, just objectively inaccurate to be like, this is year 1. No one will look at it like that. No. Because the person, to Bruce's point, under pressure, the face of the organization, the reason we talk about the Buffalo Bills is about to be in year 10. It's year 9 for him. And he sat in on the interviews. He got, it's seemingly your relationship with him is what helped you get this job. Like, there is going to be, in my eyes, as much pressure on Joe Brady as there would have been on Sean McDermott. Like, now, not in that if he doesn't get it done, we're going to say he's on the hot seat, but the expectation for the Buffalo Bills is to finally win the Super Bowl, and that was going to be the case no matter who the coach was, but particularly when they hire from within, KW.
I agree with all of that. Doing another round of over-under, starting with everybody's All-American Matthew Stafford.
That was a touchdown pass against Seattle. Those are hard to come by.
Not for him, because he's got 220 more games of experience.
Oh, now.
Craig May slowly get there. Fresh off NFC Championship appearance, over-under is set at 10.5. Let's look at their non-division opponents. Their division should be pretty tough. They're home against Cowboys, Giants, Packers, Chiefs, Chargers, and Bills, then on the road in Philadelphia, Washington, Tampa Bay, Vegas, and Denver. Very tricky. Nick, you love this team.
The schedules look
You do.
I do love this.
This one looks very tricky to me.
I like the extra home game. Tell you that much.
Okay. I never know. Like people going on. I haven't looked at the international. What's going to come up with the Jags?
I think they are the team that plays the Niners in Australia, right? I think it's Rams Niners in Australia. You know what? Fact check me on that.
I could also argue the Rams never have
home. But I totally.
The Cowboys game's actually on the road.
The Rams have better home crowd than the Chargers in that stadium at this point. But I'm going over. This isn't even in pencil. This is in like Etch-a-Sketch. You just shake it.
Oh, yeah, okay.
You don't even need an eraser. But right now, if I had to make my NFC pick for next year, I'd probably pick the Rams.
That's not.
I've been.
You know what? That's not.
What? What do you mean?
He's not going to pick them, and then he's going to play around with this little side.
You ever watch the YouTube analytics where it's just like it spikes if something interesting happens? It's not happening. No one's like, oh, guess what? Nick is flirting with the Rams.
Right, exactly.
We've done like 2 years of bits about it. We know.
I've got the over.
You kind of like the Rams, but never enough to commit to the Rams.
I think the Rams have been banging on the door for years. They got through, and then the last few years they've been right there. They have given the last 2 Super Bowl champs their only close game in either of the last 2 postseasons.
That's a good take.
And I think Stafford, it showed last year, he's as good as ever, if not better than ever. I think they'll have their key pieces back, particularly on offense. I like the over.
I'm glad to see everybody's All-American back. But there's a part of me that fears maybe he should have walked away on top.
Well, that wouldn't have been on top.
I mean, but he had a great year. He won his first MVP. Everybody loves him right now.
Yeah.
I'm going under.
Wow.
He'll be 38. I'm certainly not going to say he's half-hearted into it because he's questioned whether or not he wants to play the last few years and obviously played well. But look, Sean McVay, great coach, unquestionably. 3 of their last 4 years, he's 10 wins or under. So that he's not a guarantee that they're going to win a ton of games just because he's a great coach. Defensively, they gave up, 31 to Carolina, 31, I believe, to Seattle and losing in the playoffs.
They weren't
Second
good
half
after
of the season, they weren't as good defensively. So I'm going to, again, we know it's all in pencil. Right now, the division's clearly tough. I'm going under. I think the Niners are going to be healthier and good. Obviously, Seattle's there, and then we saw their schedule's fairly tough, so I'm going under.
I agree with Brew. Here's why. Every team's either going to be better, worse, or the same.
Great take. What the YouTube analytics do on that gem of insight you just gave the audience? Thanks for that.
That wasn't a take, that was a preamble.
Oh, okay, thanks.
That being said, they have the 13th toughest schedule.
Yeah.
But the strength of schedule is only based on last year's win totals. Right. So the Chiefs are right there with the Saints as far as the math goes of 6-win teams. I think the Cowboys are going to be better. I think the Giants are going to be better. The Chiefs are going to be better. If Joe Alt is healthy, we know the Chargers is going to be better. Commanders with Jaden will be better. Right. Raiders, a little bit, maybe, I don't know. No. Broncos, Eagles might be the same.
But that's where I disagree with you. Give me your paper real quick. Because, by that same thing you're doing, you think the Broncos are going to win 14 games again?
Well, they might not win as many games.
Well, but that's right. Exactly.
But they might be better.
The Chargers, they won 11 games last year.
I think the Chargers will be a tougher team.
So I don't think when we say, it's a tough division, it is a tough division. It's damn near impossible for the division to be tougher than it was last year, and they smashed the over. They would have smashed this over last year. The Niners, the 2 other teams in their division were playing each other for the number 1 seed in game 272. Yeah. It's hard to have a tougher division.
You think the Niners will be better, though?
I do not think the Niners will have a better record than they did last year.
Well, maybe not record, but be a better team. They might have a better record.
And I don't think Seattle's going to have a better record than they did last year.
Probably not.
So when it comes to just picking win totals. I'm less truly concerned about overall quality of, are the Niners better? And it's more about there's only 272 wins to be had across the league. How are they going to be dispersed? And so
they can get got. They can get got.
They can get got.
They've been,
they're great against Seattle.
Look, he's not going to pick them. He's going to pick Chicago and then flirt with the Rams.
No, he's not going to pick Chicago because Danny is on that Chicago corner like nobody else.
Let's see.
I might pick Seattle.
This is second team.
Don't pick Seattle. I picked Seattle. Packers win total is at 10.5, Brew. Are you going over or no?
You don't even need to ask me.
Falcons, Bills, Panthers, Cowboys. Ooh, that Cowboys game in Green Bay is fun. Texans, Dolphins, Rams, Patriots, Saints, Jets, Bucks on the road. Packers.
I think I may have been a year early on my Packers to the Super Bowl pick. Michael will be back maybe for the start of the season, week 3, 4 for sure.
Okay.
They're going to be. Remember, last year, we don't think of this because they've been in the playoffs a few times. They were the youngest team in the league last year. All right? Yeah. Jordan Love had his best season and seemed to get rid, early on he had some moments where
you're right.
The Jordan Love moments, but later on he was strong. And look, I would love to see them, and I guess it's possible they get a better receiver. Maybe Matthew Golden will turn into that true number one. They need a true number one, but assuming Micah's back healthy, Matt LaFleur too, who I think is a very good coach, is on the hot seat.
Yeah.
And I think that'll motivate him. I don't think you can say he should be if you just look at the results, but I think it's crazy to have him on the hot seat. But again, I think that could work in their benefit because he knows, man, I got to have a great season. And so I think they're going to be the over.
I'd take the under. You still have a good season, still going to make the playoffs hitting the under. That's a big number. You lost your defensive coordinator to a head coaching job, which means you lost it. It's always more concerning to me when you lose a coordinator because he was so good that he got plucked, rather than we are making this choice because we think we can improve in that spot, meaning you didn't want to lose him. I think that Micah's return from an ACL is a bit of a black box at a position and a style of play where what makes him so special, one of the things is his speed, his burst, his athleticism. So even when he is back, how long until he looks like Micah? I do think that and it's also their star receiver, tight end. Tucker Kraft's coming off a major injury. Now he'll be back, but it's all
the backup was pretty good.
And the backup was supposed to be the better player. The Kraft just kind of exploded onto the scene. All of that aging running back, I'll just take the under for now.
I'm also going to take the under. I'm waiting for Jordan Love to make the leap.
No,
we can't have this conversation every offseason.
No, but he could. But he also, I bet Brew will agree with me. He could never make the leap and just be solid. You know what I mean? Like somewhere from the 8th to 12th best quarterback in football year over year.
You can win it that way, obviously.
And Dak Prescott, I think, never made the leap. Like he was consistently, he was
like an MVP.
He had an MVP candidate. He had an MVP candidate year, and I think Jordan Love might have one of those in his future, and still never just be like the perennial elite quarterback. Like,
but if he's in the MVP mix.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you remember Brew's ballot.
He
showed up.
He had a few weeks on the ballot.
Let's head down to Jacksonville. Speaking of a guy who was in the MVP mix.
Yeah, I mean, top
finished
5.
5th. It's his second top 7 MVP.
That is an amazing stat, considering his career.
Well, I mean, what do you mean?
I mean, you wouldn't think he's been in the top 7
You're right. I would have thought
twice.
he would have had way more than that.
Amazing.
That is correct.
No,
home against the Browns, Patriots, Eagles, Steelers, and Commanders. On the road against the Ravens, Bears, Bengals, Cowboys, Broncos, and Giants. He's back to being the Prince. Hit the trumpets, Dust. Gee whiz.
Yeah.
Over under 9.5. Actually,
that's an insult.
I was going to say.
That's a slap.
Vegas doesn't believe.
That's a slap in the Prince in Jacksonville's face. They just got the good announcement from a couple days ago. Once again, back-to-back London games. So
that's a good announcement.
For the Jags, it is. For the Jags, it's an advantage at this point. They're all
6 games in Florida.
But here's why I think it's an advantage. They're used to it.
Yeah.
It's all, and whoever is coming over, they're like, okay, this is our one Europe trip. Maybe they haven't even gone to one previously. They have to learn it. The Jags, have a system for when they go over there. And the second game on that Europe trip for them, they'll have been there for 10 days already, and the other team will have just gotten there. So I do think, that there is something of an edge in that compared to the opponent. I think the Titans are still building and far away. I think we don't know who's playing quarterback for the Colts. You're talking about an Achilles being a 2-year injury for Jayson Tatum.
Yep.
Daniel Jones popped his 4 months ago, sadly.
Yep.
And I know you have recreated the 2025 Texans into an amalgamation of the 85 Bears, 2000
It's just the
Ravens.
stats when you look at them. They're lying right up there with Ray Lewis and Ed Reed.
But I think that this is a tough offseason for CJ, and the Texans still have real questions all across their offense outside of CJ. Just all the offensive line, the skill position guys, all of it. So that division, that quarterback, that schedule, I love the over for Jacksonville.
I'm not as high on them as you, and I really had trouble with this answer, but I'm going to go over. Like you said, the division, I don't think Tennessee's ready.
Yeah.
Jones probably won't be back for Indy. And I do think CJ will bounce back, but still, we'll see. So I like Liam Cohen. I'm not convinced the Prince is like, okay, this is who he is now, but 10 wins, I think they can get there. So.
And we didn't even mention it, KW, Travis Hunter. They're going to get more from Travis Hunter next year than they did this year. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.